Oi, oh, you heard some of yous talking bad about the boss? Well, guess what? The boss is back. Back in black.
Hey guys, here with GRIMGOR Ironhide, going to be leading the Greenskins. This is a community cast from Sladex, going up against the Vampire Counts, so potentially a pretty tough situation here. GRIMGOR, the boss of the Black Orcs, going to be leading 4 units of Black Orcs. We've got some Orc Air Boys as well. Night Goblin Shaman here for some sneaky stealing. Orc Boar Biggins, a couple Spider Riders as well, and Goblins out to the flanks. We've got Mangy Marauders also. For the Spooky Vampire Counts, going to be led by a Lamian Vampire Lord. We've also got a Goose, looks like Banshee, and a Necromancer on foot. Corpse Cart with an Unholy Lodestone. Nope, just 2 regular Corpse Carts. It's pretty good. Better to have an Unholy Lodestone, but not too bad. Mortis Engine as well. A bunch of Grave Guard zombies. You can see already the 8-peak loons running in here, getting a beautiful Fanatics cast, and just going all in with the wah, right up, straight up the pipe. Getting in here, starting to mess up some of these zombies, and just kind of break up this advance here. You can see also GRIMGOR and the Black Orcs coming forward with their attack buff active, their charge buff and everything. And yeah, even this Mortis Engine going to start to do some draining, but take some hits. In the back line, units just kind of staying relatively secure. The Banshee, although she does have good physical resistance, you can see because the Black Orcs have such high weapon strength, they're just going to do consistent damage to her over the course of a long battle. But you can see, if you kind of take a look at Cinematic Cam here, this Mortis Engine is going to come over here. It does have support of some Grave Guard here. You have some debuffs going down, Itchy Nuisance to debuff the melee attack of the Dragon, and especially like these Black Orcs and the Banshee and everything over on this side. The Grave Guard rather. The Black Orcs fighting okay. The Goose came down to try and go after these archers, but actually Orc Air Boys with only 14 melee defense. I mean, the Goose only has 26 melee attack, right? So it's not like it's going to do that great of damage to begin with, but Penumbral Pendulum up and over the top of the hill. Get some pretty good damage on those Orc Air Boys, but nothing too bad. Meanwhile, on the front line, GRIMGOR is just absolutely demolishing this Corpse Cart, manually dismantling it, which is what we want to see. Black Orcs cleaving through skeletons and zombies here. Will take them some time, but they'll definitely clean up shop there. Yeah, we've also got the 8-peak loons continuing to fight in the front line. They're unbreakable, of course. Might be able to get off like one more Fanatics cast, but obviously have taken quite a bit of damage. The Orc Airboy Overwatch Fire is pretty legit. Orc Airboys do quite a bit of missile damage, quite a bit of AP, and yeah, that Mortis Engine is having to stay outside. Another beautiful Fanatics cast right through the blob. There it goes, as the 8-peak loons are just about done, but that did get a pretty good amount of kills there. Up to 82 kills from those 2 Fanatics casts, and another really nice Penumbral Pendulum going to be dropped on these Orc Airboys. That one does a lot more damage. With those summon zombies kind of blobbing them up a little bit. You can see the Goose and the Zombie Dragon are causing problems now in the back line. Those Orc Air Boys eventually did end up taking some damage. The Orc Boar Boy Biggins and the Spider Riders trying to keep Lamian on the ground here, and they will succeed to a degree. Let the Orcs get some shots in there. But yeah, Mortis Engine and these Grave Guard definitely over pursuing a little bit. They need to come up and kind of get in on this main blob of Black Orcs. There's what, like 3 or 4? Yeah, 3 units of Black Orcs here still. So another wall being popped, as GRIMGOR has been saturated in melee this entire time. Easily able to recharge that, so a nice damage spike all across the field. These Grave Guard aren't going to hold up very well this assault at all. And of course, GRIMGOR here, just an absolute meat grinder. Getting massive splash attacks in there. The Airboys continuing to fire at the Lamian down on the low ground there as she terrifies away the cavalry. Lots of zombie summons continuing to be pulled up as well, of course. Trying to keep consistent melee pressure on these ranged units, but the zombies obviously aren't going to do too much. Even goblins will be able to fight them relatively efficiently. But obviously the Mortis Engine can continue to provide some healing as well. One issue, though, is that the Greenskins definitely have a bit of a numbers and mobility advantage here. You can see these Orc Air Boys and Boar Biggins coming back, Grave Guard and Goblins also coming back over on the far side. So looking pretty good. We've got another Itchy Nuisance here debuffing the melee attack, and looks like the Banshee's going to try and get, point blank blasted by the nasty little Gobbo Shaman. That actually did like about half of her HP in damage there, give or take. Invocation from the Heck, but then GRIMGOR comes in. GRIMGOR ain't scared of no ghost. Doesn't necessarily do magic damage, but I mean 500 weapon strength is so much that, again, even with that physical resistance negating quite a bit of that damage potentially, GRIMGOR still just going to hit so hard that he'll do consistent damage there. Banshee almost up to her healing cap, is going to go ahead and pull away there, reunify with that Mortis Engine to get that passive healing effect. But another blast, miscast, and a solid contact just about finishes off that Banshee. So she's really not feeling too great right now, definitely regretting life decisions, and even starts to crumble there, so only a matter of time before she's off the battlefield, which is always nice. Goblins continuing to fight the summoned skeletons on the top of this hill here, and the Mortis Engine comes through to drain. Obviously, the three kind of terror-causing single entities still on the field for the vampires is a huge problem. The balance of power is starting to show that. I mean, GRIMGOR is still pretty healthy, but a lot of these Black Orcs are kind of starting to be worn down a little bit, and obviously, if the Mortis Engine can't be taken care of, then it will be able to drain out all the Black Orcs. But a nice little zap there. I'm not sure. It might have made contact with the Lamian or the Mortis Engine. Either one is a valid target at this point. And a nice friendly fire on that breath attack from the Goose. I don't know if it actually did a ton of friendly fire, but it looked like it was mostly friendly damage. But GRIMGOR is still here fighting with his Black Orcs, and as long as GRIMGOR is here, he can potentially get some good hits and finish off these single entities. Looks like he's here fighting the dragon now. Nice, gets a good stagger hit there. Goose comes down over on the far side to chase some units off, but GRIMGOR now with the wah popped, able to get a really good hit, and again, that stagger is so important. It allows him to get one more hit in there, and yeah, Lamian taking a beating. GRIMGOR now in these Black Orcs with their melee attack buff will be able to start making more consistent contact just with all units, and this Mortis Engine definitely going to take some heavy damage here. Same thing with the Banshee, who's still somehow slithering around, spooking around. Looks like she's pretty much done for there. Yep, she blows up. The Necromancer also just about at his healing cap. He's been just touching his Forbidden Rod, regenerating some extra winds of magic. Nice breath attack there. Doesn't get the best blob contact, but pretty good. Might have wanted to go after GRIMGOR with that. It's hard to say. But, yeah. Balance power getting dangerously close to critical army losses, although a lot of the Vampire Counts units are starting to disintegrate. Still got quite a few Black Orcs here fighting, a few units still healthy enough. And the Mangy Marauders are immune to psychology, although they have terrible leadership anyway. So they're going to come in here and probably immediately get routed off. No, not quite immediately. But GRIMGOR gets a hold of this Necromancer. Absolutely just throws him around. And with the Necromancer going down, GRIMGOR's got bigger fish to fry, whether that be the dragon, the Goose, or the Mortis Engine. He's going to have to be the one to carry it here, if that's even possible. If he takes a few big attacks from the dragon or from the Terror Goose, it's not going to be too great. You can see there the Goblins, Spider Riders routing off. I believe the Shaman also routed off a while back. Yeah, they don't have the best leadership in the world, so not expected to hang around for too long. But you can see now GRIMGOR in a bit of a dangerous situation. The Mortis Engine doesn't have the best attack. It does have AP and anti-infantry, though, with 33 attack. Can actually get a couple of hits, potentially, against GRIMGOR, but he has other ideas. Apparently the Mortis Engine does, too, as it goes off to drain some infantry, which is probably the right call, honestly. And GRIMGOR fighting the Goose here. Goose actually, again, because it doesn't have the best attack, only 27 attack, and the anti-large obviously does not apply to GRIMGOR, it really is not going to have the best chance to hit against him. So it might not be able to finish him off. We'll see here. It looks like he does get a hold of the Mortis Engine. And some of the Spider Riders, kind of providing that little bit of poison there. The Mortis Engine does go into crumbling ever so briefly. Will it survive? The Necromancer. Oh, yeah. That's a fitting end for him. Good job, GRIMGOR. Who's next? And the Mortis Engine blows up, unfortunately, before he can get there. So that looks to be the end of that. Now all that remains is the Goose and the Dragon, and GRIMGOR will be leading his boys in there. Dragon takes off. Yep, looks like it's going to be able to take off there. So super, super close. So close to critical army losses for the Greenskins. Just GRIMGOR and these Black Orcs still holding a handful of Spider Riders. There are some Graveguard who, again, way overchased earlier, chasing off some Black Orcs, but go ahead and fast forward a little bit as Slade kind of forms up a defensive position on the hill, then decides to go try and get those Graveguards since they're a bit isolated. Try and force an engagement here. Hit him with the Spider Riders and then pull away. The Spider Riders are going to shatter, but that does draw the Graveguard into the Black Orcs here for the final engagement. And the Goose and the Dragon both come down. Now, the Vampire player makes a mistake here, in my opinion, in not going directly after GRIMGOR with both the Dragon and the Goose at the same time. But we'll see. I mean, it's so close to army losses here. Will the Greenskins even be able to hold at this point? Wah being popped, Seduction as well, so a little bit of give and take there on the melee attack buffs. But now GRIMGOR is starting to get some hits, potentially, finally able to get in contact with these big powerhouse lords, and yeah, they don't want to stay in contact with him for too long. The Dragon and the Goose definitely need to try and cycle charge as much as possible, but because there's this other unit of Black Orcs here, they've got their Wah juiced up. They're going to be getting hits against this Terror Goose. You can see the both units here, actually. The Dragon comes down to try and rout them off. Probably will, but GRIMGOR is still fighting. He's got a pretty decent charge bonus on foot as well, so that will be active as he charges in there. What is that? 70 charge bonus on foot, so definitely guaranteed hit on the charge. Almost. Not quite 100% guaranteed. No hit is ever 100% guaranteed, but assuming GRIMGOR can get into contact here. Oh yeah, gets another staggering hit there. And is he going to do it? He's forced the Terrorgeist into crumbling, so that's good. Getting a little bit of free damage there, but the Black Orc support is just about gone. Meanwhile, for the Vampire counts, the Graveguard support is still fighting here, very surprisingly. So GRIMGOR potentially could be in a situation where he's very, very isolated, but yeah, Black Orcs be gone. Thankfully, the Graveguard are crumbling, and there's still a few Black Orcs here fighting. Enough to be able to finish off these Graveguards. GRIMGOR, of course, going to do his best to help out in that endeavor. But, yeah, managed to actually pull the balance of power back towards the middle a little bit. Still heavily in the Vampire count's favor, but I don't think the Lamian and this Terror Goose can actually finish off GRIMGOR here. I mean, it is a little bit RNG dependent on whether they get some hits or not, but you can see the GRIMGOR disintegrate there, and as the Lamian charges in, she actually gets hit by GRIMGOR. Another swiping hit there does about 300 HP in damage, and suddenly things are not looking too bad for the Great Black Orc. Last of his lads are gone, I think. Might come back from rout, but GRIMGOR comes in. Does look like we have some Black Orcs back from rout over on the far side there. But GRIMGOR getting a few really good hits against the Terrorgeist, forces it into crumbling once again. Gets charged though. Lightning reflexes on the Goose. He drops a Wah on himself with the Seduction. All the buffs and debuffs popping off to kind of even out. And he gets a few hits here. Let's see, we'll keep the health bars kind of up and visible so that we can see what's happening. GRIMGOR down to 200 HP. He finishes off the Lamian in a single blow and then actually gets routed by the Terrorgeist. These Black Orcs are technically still fighting here, but the Terrorgeist is crumbling. The Terrorgeist is crumbling, so, you know, crumbling being a balanced game mechanic, of course. Undead, if your only unit on the field is crumbling, for some reason that doesn't mean that you've lost the battle, because that would make too much sense. GRIMGOR actually dies here, but this unit of Black Orcs still has 9 leadership, and the Terrorgeist is crumbling. Crumbling finally hits army losses, which it should have earlier, because, you know, crumbling is a game mechanic that absolutely does not need any fixes whatsoever and works perfectly. I don't know why you're asking. But GRIMGOR sacrificed himself so that the last of his lads could take home the win there, and very well played to Slade. I have to say, that's one of the closest battles I've seen in a very long time, and a super fun one to watch. So big thanks again. Yeah, very impressive kill totals for a number of the boys. 118 for GRIMGOR himself, 169 for Goblins. That's pretty good. I mean, granted, that's probably all zombies, but still. 83 for the 8-peak loons, 194 for these Black Orcs, 181, 306, again, mostly zombies, but still very impressive. 81 for Orc Airboys, also not too bad. They must have fought some zombies in melee somewhere. But yeah, the Orc Air Boys contributing a lot of damage on the Mortis Engine and the Lamian. Mortis Engine itself, 99 kills, some XP chevrons going on there. 127 for the Goose, 184 for the Lamian. So definitely some powerhouse units there. The Graveguard also did okay, 42, 97, and 62 for the Stearnsman. So not too bad there. Were quite a few Goblin units to try and take out, but not the biggest model count Greenskin army in the world. I mean, I guess did have a lot of infantry units, but still. Just an excellent battle overall. Big pleasure to watch and cast. So thank you for being here. Thanks to Slade for the replay. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.